Welcome back everybody to 31 Days of Horror, and today we're looking at 2002's The Mothman Prophecies. So this is directed by Mark Pellington, who also did the really rather good Arlington Road from the prior decade, and this is a supernatural horror mystery film clocking in at 119 minutes long, had a budget of $32 million, which is obviously quite a lot for a supernatural horror film, but it had a box office return of 55.2, so a relative success. And it stars the likes of Richard Gere, who is also in Internal Affairs and Primal Fear, alongside Laura Linney, who's also in this, who was also in Primal Fear as well as The Truman Show, and Will Patton, who was in Romeo is Bleeding, Copycat, and The Client. So reporter John Klein is plunged into a world of impossible terror and unthinkable chaos when fate draws him into a sleepy West Virginia town whose residents are being visited by a great winged shape that sows hideous nightmares and fevered visions. So this is the third time that I have now seen this, and it is now the third time I've bumped my rating up, as I enjoyed this more than I have done before, as everything about it hit that bit harder. The effective characterization and human drama that starts this film off provides a solid underpinning for the rest of the film, which this never really loses sight of. The two leads are also great with their chemistry working well, really working well. The rest of the cast is also really good. The pacing is on point, the score is excellent, the sound design is well executed, the film is drenched in a real sense of unease, the cinematography is well done, and the production is superb, especially when it comes to the satisfying conclusion. So, yeah, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. No real reason for you to not watch this film after what I've just said. But if you're not bothered about spoilers, then you can continue because, yeah, when it comes to the satisfying conclusion and the production, it's because a lot of the film is hinting towards a disaster happening in this town. We initially think it's this chemical plant that is being visited by a senator that John Klein was initially supposed to be interviewing, but then it turns out that it's actually a bridge called Silver Bridge that is gonna collapse. And our lead character ends up realizing this while he's waiting for the bridge to clear of traffic, and yeah, ends up running on and tries to save as many people as he can. Actually, does save some people because apparently it was going to be a much worse disaster without his involvement. And yeah, the bridge collapse is superb. I don't think any CGI was actually using it. It looks like it's all miniatures and sets and such. And yeah, it's an absolutely superb piece of filmmaking when it comes to that bridge collapse. Reminded me a lot of Mark Pellington's previous film Arlington Road, which had a really rather fantastic bit of practical effects in that. But with that being an explosion, it happened quite fairly quickly. Whereas this being a bridge collapse, it's quite progressive. It doesn't happen just instantly. You know, wires snapping, rivets popping, the road cracking, and such like that, and cars falling off into the river. And yeah, it obviously it has its limitations in terms of it being miniature work, so therefore the cinematography and the editing work well in tandem to make the most of what is there. And yeah, it's such a fantastic bridge collapse that it makes me feel like the reason why the Final Destination series waited until its fifth film to make a bridge collapse the focus of its um, premonition disaster. This was so good that they kind of put them off from doing it because yeah, they had to wait for CGI to come along to be good enough for a medium-sized budget film that they were working with to do an effective bridge collapse. Bridge collapse in Final Destination 5 is pretty good, but I much prefer the physical miniature work that this has going on for it, and yeah, it's just superbly done. So yeah, that alone is one reason to watch it, but the genuine unease throughout the film that is building up to what you initially don't know is going to happen is really well done, and yeah, overall a fantastic film. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 now. I used to give it 4 in the second watch, and in the first watch I only gave it 3.5. So yeah, clearly my tastes have grown somewhat over time. So yeah, we have the alternate artwork here. Don't prefer that as much as this one. I prefer that one, to be honest. This is decent, but it doesn't make it look anywhere near as good. And then we've got the disc itself, which has the artwork on the slipcover. And then on the disc itself, we've got audio commentary by the director himself. We've then got 99 Will Die, directing the Mothman Prophecies, an interview with the director from 2020. And then we've got Nocturnal Butterfly, editing the Mothman Prophecies, an interview with editor Brian Burden from 2020. Don't Be Afraid, composing the Mothman Prophecies, an interview with composers Tom and Andy from 2020. What Do You See, designing the Mothman Prophecies, an interview with production designer Richard Hoover from 2020. Then you got a Making of Futurette, Deleted Scenes, Half-Light music video by Low, Search for the Mothman documentary, Day by Day, A Director's Journey Part 1, The Road In documentary, and then Day by Day, A Director's Journey Part 2, The Road Home documentary, as well as a theatrical trailer and stills gallery as well. So yeah, as you probably gathered, this did come out in 2020 from Imprint. It was actually the first film I ever bought from them, secondhand albeit. But yeah, I enjoyed this film so much. Even though I only originally gave it 3.5, I still more than enjoyed it enough to want to actually own it. So I searched high and low for it. Eventually came across this on eBay. Wasn't all that much, but it was a little bit more expensive than I thought. But I still went for it anyway. And yeah, been quite frankly hooked with Imprint's releases ever since. And yeah, but probably about 150, maybe even 200 of there so far. So yeah, great label, great film. Highly recommend seeing it, especially during the spooky season. But if you have seen it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.